this isn't a well in-depth video, but I just wanted to insert some closing notes here. So now power came back on around 11 some odd time Sunday. It's funny because power tried to come back on Saturday. I saw the light flicker on my computer behind me, but then nothing. It's like, wait a minute, that's weird. Maybe someone plugged a generator in a wall or something. But no, it was out. And then come to find out, Saturday night, my neighbor was on, everybody was on, and then, except for me. And then the neighbors across the street weren't on. And it wasn't until Sunday when I saw two trucks and they had the transformer installed and got the power back on here. But cell communications were still down. However, Balsam West stayed online. So I was able to go to Balsam West, which is what we have out at my work. So I went to my work and was able to get on networks and the internet and just kind of check on things and stuff like that. So as of yesterday, the making of this video, which was Monday, cell services were restored. So I have internet again and I have cell services at my house again. So I've been relatively unscathed except for bad food, things like that. But however, all the road networks besides for two are closed in and out of town. Where I live, we only got fingered a little bit by this storm. Asheville got completely decimated. In fact, I've been watching a lot of stuff trickling out of Asheville now that I got internet back, and it's mind-numbing. I don't even know how to process it. It is bad. It is really bad. Here in Franklin, where I'm at, we didn't get it nearly as bad, although the river out by my house on the other side of the street was topping its banks and flooding the street and stuff like that. Now, fortunately, it didn't come up this way. But, so the next biggest problem, like I said, there's only two routes out of town, and that's 441 southbound out through Georgia and West 64 out to Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is hours away. Other than that, there's no way out of town and there's no way in town. In fact, both western and eastern sides of North Carolina are cut completely off. You cannot get to the eastern side of North Carolina from here. In fact, the Department of Transportation has closed all roads to non-essential traffic. So you can't even get in here. I can't, there's nothing we can do about it. And the local grocery store chain, the warehouse distribution center that goes to all of their stores in the entire Southeast U.S. was in Asheville, and it was flooded out, and it was on I-40. So we've got a problem with food. It's going to be interesting. I've got the bare essentials over here of, I've got soda to last for a couple weeks, 3 weeks or more. But I've only got so many supplies, so we'll see how this goes. But anyways, I'm okay. Everything's fine, at least for me. My heart goes out to those that are affected, such as LGR and so many other people. And hopefully we can recover from this. This is the third time I've been through something like this. First time was Hurricane Ike in 2008 when I was living in Ohio. Second time was 2009 where we had the floods take out the power plant, which shut down power in the entire county when I lived up there. And then once again here in 2024. So anyways, that's it. That's the update that I have at the current moment. So the power has been doing this since I've been awake. And the winds haven't even started yet. We're not even close. Hell, the hurricane hasn't even made landfall yet, but this power is just flickering and jumping all over the place. Right now it's stable, but I feel like there's a limb that's laying on a wire somewhere because it keeps dropping to like 22. I can see it in the lights. It's actually happening faster than this meter can catch.
They also understand that some people.
And another flood advisory came through.
Hunker down, even though they were requested to leave. So
switched it over to the XL, and even the XL fits under there fairly well. Huh. Almost looks like it was made to be there. It's a Dolby analog digital receiver that I'm using as a tuner, because why not?
check in on that real quick. This is associated with storms that he was just talking about. So once again,
It took a minute for that crawl to run back around again.
when he speaks with us, right? This is I think this is officially the 18,000th time that he's done this.
Wee!
Yeah,
Flash flood warning.
rotation.
It's boring without power. Here's my main concern. Over there, there's someone's garage and house right there, but just on the other side of that is the damn river. You can just about see the reflection off in the distance right there. It's almost like I've been hit with an EMP or something, because, you know, I remember a time before we had the internet, before we had social media and all that, because this was back in my childhood. So I remember a time before all of that existed. So it feels like I've been thrown back 30 years, right back in that time. Because I remember growing up, we'd have thunderstorms roll through the Ohio Valley and the power would go out, and this is all I had to be able to keep myself entertained. I feel like we're right back to that moment in time because there's no internet, there's no cellular networks here. Everything's gone. It's just dead. And that's kind of where we're at now. But man, it does suck not having power though. I feel like the food's gonna go bad in my fridge because it's been almost 11, 12 hours without power, something like that. God, it's so dark. I can hear a standby generator running next door. But it's been going on for almost 48 hours now. It'll be 48 hours in 8 hours. They're probably getting ready to run out of fuel, to be honest. It's crazy. It's so dark. It's going to be hard to see because right now there's literally nothing going on other than the standby light on my laptop. All of my food is bad. I'm fortunate all the flood alerts and everything have subsided, and there's no more threat of flooding, and my house has been spared. Thank God for that. My house has been spared. However, there's still no data services, there's still no cellular services, there's still nothing. I went to work. The power is actually on at the shop. So I went to work. There's a road that goes to my work that's impassable, so I have to take the long way around. The internet's down at the shop, but it's down everywhere. This entire county has no communication services whatsoever. So I'm using the shop to charge my devices. Unfortunately, I was trying to find a hotel. See, here's the problem. I had to drive all the way to Georgia to get onto cellular networks, and even down there it was spotty and not working well. The internet was really slow. The phone was not really working that well. But it was nuts. It was nuts. I get to Georgia and there's people literally lined up on the sides of the roads, just pulled over, playing on their phones, because there's no communications in this area right now. I don't know about T-Mobile. I don't know about AT&T, but I know on Verizon there's nothing at all. So my guess is there's a backbone, a fiber that comes into this county that's been cut, and it's done. There's nothing. So anyway, so I was in the point. More of the story is I was in Georgia to try to get a hotel, and nobody. There's no vacancies anywhere. Everyone's booked out. And even when I was trying to make phone calls, my calls were dropping. So there was literally no bookings or no openings anywhere. It's the gravity of the situation. It's starting to finally sink in how fucked we actually are in this area. Now what's funny is this neighborhood has no power at all. But if I drive 2 miles up the road, there's power. And if I go in the center of town, there's power. Mostly there's power. And when I drove yesterday to the shop to recharge my devices, I noticed the trucks out there replacing telephone poles. It's insane. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's already been 48 hours without power. Yeah, anyways, I just figured I'd give an update. Oh, and my batteries are dead on everything, so the only thing I have right now to listen to is my NOAA weather radio. At least I'll know what's going on. This is almost like a storm of the century situation too, because the gravity of the situation. When I had internet services, because I had to drive south, like I said, to get on the internet and get food, I was looking at the reports coming in, and LGR, as in Lazy Game Reviews, Clint, lost his house, from what I understand. It's nuts. And that makes sense because it's out in Asheville. Asheville is in a state of emergency and has a curfew right now. But yeah, I am literally standing outside. I'm actually standing at my door right now. It's so black from just no power that you can't see any streetlights or anything. The last time I've been through anything like this, of this magnitude, was September 14th, 2008. See, September 14th, 2008, we had Hurricane Ike. Hurricane Ike. At that time, I was living in Southwest Ohio. And at that time, Hurricane Ike had hooked up with a cold front. And the funny thing about that storm was it was dry. There was no rain at all. It was just straight wind. Tons and tons of wind. And that storm brought so much wind, it took the power out in the entire tri-state for the most part. Hamilton was without power entirely. So I remember I had to drive close to Indiana to just get food. It was crazy. And then at that time though, I had friends around so I can go hang out with them. And then I think the center of town, the core of town, got power within a day. So we'd go hang out with a buddy of mine at his house. And it was so bad at that time that they were threatening to shut down the water pumping stations because the generators were running out of fuel. It was insane. It was insane because the whole town would have been, that was a city. The whole city would have been without power. But anyways, but no, I've not been through this since 2008. And the next year later, June of 2009, we had thunderstorms all night long, which it actually flooded the power generator plant in the city, and it tripped all the Duke Energy lines coming in, so the entire city was without power. But that was only for a night, and it was up the next day in the middle of the day sometime. But no, in 2008, when Hurricane Ike came through, I was at my house, living on the outskirts of town. I was without power for almost 4 days. Actually, 4 days. It came on. But at least back then I had friends and stuff like that. I can go do something or hang out and chill. No. Down here, I'm alone. My entire life is on the internet and social media. So when I'm online, I can talk to my friends. My friends are probably wondering what the hell's going on with me. But I can't reach out. I'm disconnected from the world. It's an eerie feeling. And since I live alone, it's not like I have a life partner or someone like that where I can just talk to and help me get through this. But I don't. I'm alone. So trying to get through this and stay sane is really, really trying my mental stability. I'm just going to be honest. Unlike when I was living in Hamilton, I had a Steven I can go hang out with. I don't have that here. So I'm kind of hosed. I can handle a good 12-hour some odd power outage, but I can't handle a multi-day power outage. I'm not equipped for that, unfortunately. But it could be a whole lot worse. I could have lost my house, and I didn't. Because there's a lot of people out there that did, and it's unfortunate. And there's some people out there that lost their lives. So even if I think I'm having it bad, which I am, I am not having it bad as everyone else because holy shit, this is crazy. Sun's starting to come up now. So you're probably wondering, it's like, well, if your workplace has power, why didn't you just take all your food to the workplace? Well, that's a really good question. I could have taken all of my food to the workplace, but there's about $1,000 worth of food that's just bad now that I have to replace. Anyways, but you gotta understand something. When it comes to situations like this, all rational thought process just is gone out the window. Because you gotta think when there's no power, there's literally no cell phone service, no way to contact your friends, family, driving around town, can't get any service, you start to freak out a little bit, and you're not thinking clearly. Because let's say you're watching TV, you watch those disaster movies that come on TV all the time, right? They always over exaggerate it a bit, but there's some truth to that. You start losing your mind, so you're not thinking, right? So yeah, I could have taken all that stuff to work, but oh well, it's too late now. So I'm gonna have to replace all of that, but it is what it is. Hopefully, the power has been out since about 6:37 p.m. Thursday night, and is now almost 8 a.m. Saturday morning. So we're pushing. It'll be 48 hours here in a few more hours. So it's not good. It's not good at all. But it is what it is. Yeah, rational thought process gone. That doesn't exist. The other thing too is I was so hyper focused on watching this area back in here because and then behind that is the river and the river is out of its banks. At least it was because I took a trip down this road yesterday and it was impassable through there and it was coming this way. Now fortunately the flood warnings and all that stuff have subsided and I don't know I haven't been down there yet again to see what it looks like but I was so hyper focused on that too because I was worried it was going to slowly start working its way up here and I was going to lose my house. And my house is a little more important than food, anyways, because I can always go buy more food. Can't just go buy another house. It's not that simple. So, luckily, nothing happened there. I'm actually starting to grow concerned a little bit because as I was out grabbing lunch, I did some driving around in the areas that had no power, that I knew had no power. And there's not a Duke Energy truck to be found anywhere. So I went further into town a little bit, and I'm not finding anything. They're not even here. So I don't know if they've dropped the ball on this one, or maybe perhaps that they're working on Asheville first before they get here. I don't know. But if they're waiting on Asheville, it'll be weeks before we get power here. At that point, I'm going to have to flee the area because I can't go weeks without power. It's just not possible. But anyways, as I was in Family Dollar getting the candles, I noticed that people were coming in. There was nobody taking cards. Everybody was taking cash only because everything's down. There's no network, right? So I think the only system operating now is Starlink and maybe whatever's left of Frontier DSL, and I think that's it. So, because there's a couple areas in town where there's free Wi-Fi that everybody is gathered around, and it's a Starlink system, so everybody's on Starlink at the current moment in time, which makes sense. But yeah, this is not good. This is not a good situation at all. It's a memorable one, that's for sure. Still currently Saturday, and besides people's noisy ass animals in the neighborhood, you can hear work being done, trees being cut down. So hopefully something happens, but I don't know. Well, here we are. It is Sunday morning, about 7:30 a.m. The power is still out. The batteries are finally dead in the boombox. I've run out of D-cell batteries, and in fact, it's getting pretty crazy because I bought the last 2 packs of D-cells at Lowe's. In fact, we've got they started handwriting receipts because you got to understand all the systems are down. So Yeah, I figured I'd give a status update. So, I don't know, I can't math in my head right now, but I'm extremely exhausted. Very exhausted. I'm not able to get a shower. I need to shave. Can't do laundry. Um, we just got issued a boil advisory because I was out and about earlier yesterday to get food and connected to the hotspot at McDonald's, and yeah, I saw that come in. So it's been an experience. I'll say that. Yeah. In fact, the last pack of D batteries I bought at Lowe's, that's what I got, brand new in the package. So who knows how long those batteries have been sitting there? 10 years, my ass. I don't think these are 10 years old. Yeah, no, garbage. Anyway, so I'm one of those guys that when I go to bed, I have to have something going, whether it's a fan or if it's TV or something like that. That's why I don't go camping or anything like that, because honestly, it feels like I'm camping in my own house. Seriously. But yeah, that was the last pack of batteries I could find. So yeah, it's getting pretty desperate now. Thank fuck for propane cooktop. Now I'm starting to understand why they put a propane cooktop in this house. And there's a propane tank outside. There's a small one, but there's no other propane fired device in this place except for this cooktop. Now I'm starting to see that. So I got these frozen pre-cooked banquet sausages. I figured, you know what, I might as well cook them up for breakfast. This wonderful Sunday morning before they go bad, which they're already they're still cold, but they're soft. So I might as well just go ahead and cook them up. They're still out here trying to work on the power. It's crazy. So instead of a romantic candlelight dinner, we got a candlelight lunch. McDonald's. Holy shit. 11:40 a.m. Sunday morning. We have power. Oh my god. I just sat down to watch more videos on the laptop because I went to the shop and swapped out the laptop with the other one. Oh wow. Wow, 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 wow. Holy fuck. I don't know what to think. 3 days without power. 3 days. When the power went out, I think it blew this modem up too, because the downstream upstream light here is quivering. Which, of course, now that I got it on camera, it's not going to show it. But it was like flickering. Weird. But now it's not flickering. Go figure. Anyways, yeah, there's no network. I am not surprised, because the wires are probably down, or there's still a grid that doesn't have power, which has the node that this is connected to. So I think that's it. I've got power back on. I still don't have network access, but I'm not worried about that right now. So I honestly came out relatively unscathed compared to a lot of people. I didn't flood. Yes, I lost my food, but that's not a big deal. It's $500, $1,000, whatever it's going to be to replace all that, but it's not a big deal. Lost my food, but I didn't lose my house. Nothing flooded, and power has been restored. So and it's only uphill from here, since the storm has exited the area, so things should die down and it shouldn't get any worse than what it already has. So I think we're good for myself. Now, for other people such as LGR and everyone else that's been affected by this storm, my heart goes out to them. You're not alone. We're all suffering through this. Some are having it worse than others, and it's just unfortunate. And then there's some people that have lost their lives to this storm, and it's heartbreaking. This was a storm of the century. This was a storm of the century. So I'll probably just take all those random clips, throw them together, and put them on my YouTube channel or something. It's not really a video with an introduction and all that, because it's not a thing. It's just this happened out of the blue, and I wasn't prepared to make this new YouTube video on it. Although I did, right before the power went out, I did have all the equipment running, the WeatherStar equipment, and I had all of the machines online, and I was watching the streams and the storms and all that stuff come in. I might throw some of those clips in here, and then bang, power went out like 6:37 p.m. Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, and it didn't come back until 11:40 today. So, anyways, I gotta get all this on my computer and start editing some footage and get it ready to upload whenever the internet comes back. Who knows when that's gonna be? It could be a week from now. Who knows? But no cell phone service, no internet service. That doesn't exist. And it's dead at the shop too, so it's not like I can go to the shop and use the internet either. So, but hey, at least I have power. That's the important thing. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I'm okay. Everything's okay.